A warm welcome to Joburg Today. I'm Zizipo Ndivu. I'm not sure about you, but for me, my Monday morning starts off with traffic. But to find out a bit more about how it's monitored and controlled, we visited the JRA.
One of the biggest challenges around the city is our traffic, and we went to the Johannesburg Road Agency to find out how they control this massive traffic.
We've got this wonderful centre here and we've got staff that are monitoring it, but obviously the trick is to get the information from the street into the control centre so that we can get faults fixed up. And in that regard, we have what's known as a remote monitoring system, where traffic signal controllers have a modem in them and they automatically report faults back to the control centre. And then control centre gets the repair technicians out to fix. Well, look, we've got 2,100 plus or minus traffic signals in Joburg, far more than any other city in the country. So it's often a bit difficult to compare ourselves with others. But be that as it may, it's something that affects everybody. And everybody becomes an expert on traffic signal faults after a couple of days sitting in queues. So I understand exactly where they're coming from. But from our side, you know, we're never, ever going to have 100% fault-free traffic signals. So all we've got to focus on is getting a report on that fault as soon as possible and getting our guys out there as soon as possible to fix them.
As much as they have the control room, the Johannesburg Road Agency still has its challenges.
Vandalism is absolutely crippling us. We spend millions a year just on replacing damaged and stolen traffic signals, traffic signal poles, traffic signal cables, and you know, there's obviously that financial side to it, which is crippling. But every time a vandal destroys a traffic signal, it basically takes up to a week to put the signal back in again. And there's some areas where as soon as we've replaced the traffic signal, they'll come and wipe it out again.
The Find and Fix It app is one of the ways that keeps them updated on what's happening on our roads. I'm Mpomashego for Joburg Today.
Hi, I'm Rochelle and you're watching Joburg Today.
Join the conversation on our Facebook page, that's joburgtoday.tv. Follow us on Twitter @JoburgToday. And if you're one of those people on the move, then pockettv.mobi. That's pocket with an I. We are all frustrated by traffic, but something that you may not know is the impact that it has on our economy. Noshina found out more.
Joining me in studio to discuss the impact of traffic congestion on the economy is Davi Ruet, Chief Economist of the Efficient Group. Welcome to Joburg Today.
Thank you.
Davi, I haven't met anyone who said to me, boy, it was great to be stuck in traffic today. This is a big problem in Johannesburg.
It's a major problem. On my way here to the studio, I got stuck in traffic. I mean, that seems to be the rule nowadays. So that's a major problem. And you know, if you talk about the modern economy, like Joburg's economy, for example, one of those requirements is to have a system, a transport system that actually works. Mm-hmm. In fact, the Industrial Revolution was actually a transport revolution. And what happens today, we don't have the proper infrastructure, we've got all these blackouts, the traffic lights not working, and we can't make use of this immensely important resource called transport.
Yes, this compounds the whole situation. Is there a way of measuring economic impact?
I guess one can get a rough idea what the cost to the economy is. So, like, as an example, you can take somebody's wages, an hourly wage, and calculate how long that person sits in the traffic, for example, and then convert that into lost productivity. And I think that's probably not wrong to do it that way. But the reality is that even if you sit an hour in the traffic this morning, you're probably going to work a little bit harder or stay a little bit longer.
It changes your mood as well, and
so
you procrastinate when you get to work. You've got to catch up on everything else.
It's impossible to calculate that.
Yeah.
But I am pretty sure that the cost to the Joburg economy, to the South African economy, must run into the, I'm sure it must run into the billions.
Government is throwing a lot of money on infrastructure development projects. Is there enough thought being given to these problems that we're having when it comes to traffic congestion?
There's a lot of debate amongst economists whether it's a good idea to put a lot of money into public transport as an example, because they will always point out to things like the Gautrain as an example and say it's loss-making, and indeed it is loss-making. But if you add all the other additional benefits from having a proper functioning public transport system, then I'm not so sure really that it is loss-making. In fact, I've been to many countries in the world where they have amazing public transport systems, and you can literally afford it to stay away tens of kilometers away from your workplace and make it in time and on time. So I think what we need to do is certainly invest more in public transport. But the really exciting thing that I think is going to change the world is technological changes. Technological changes like driverless motor cars, as an example. Uber, in a way, is a technological change. And that will eventually, over time, make life much easier for us.
And Uber is quite popular now.
It is, and I think it will probably become more and more popular. And I think there will be some competition. But pretty soon, because obviously it works well. So if something works well, expect somebody else to join the party.
And you mentioned Gautrain. I actually chatted to the CEO, and he told me that during peak hours, the coaches are jam-packed.
Yep.
It's first come, first serve. It shows that people do have a lot of faith when it comes to Gautrain services because of the security factor as well. I mean, you know, we carry all our techno gadgets with us when we get to work, our laptops, our tablets, our cell phones. Crime is also a factor, and Gautrain offers a safer alternative.
It's so comfortable as well. You sit in nice seats, if you can get a seat, of course, over peak time. But you sit in safe seats, it really is safe, and you can work during that time, and it's a nice, smooth ride without a doubt. It is quite expensive, but if you do the proper calculation, you'll probably find it's cheaper to take the Gautrain, especially if you're going to get stuck in traffic somewhere. But we in South Africa, you know, it's a huge country, South Africa, and the problem with big countries is that it's very difficult the infrastructural cost is quite expensive. It's much easier to have infrastructure in New York or in Moscow for that matter, or in London, because there's a lot of people living in a relatively small space, in a relatively small area. In South Africa, between Johannesburg and in Pretoria, as an example, there are big stretches of land without buildings. You don't find that in really the modern cities of the world, like, for example, London and the like. But we're not really used to that yet, public transport. Gradually, we're getting used to it. Gradually, we're getting kicking and screaming, getting pulled out of our motor cars and get onto the buses and get onto the trains.
The thing is, yes, it's about a change of culture as well. People in Joburg love their motor cars.
And that's part of the reason why the toll roads are actually, theoretically, that is a good thing. Because the toll roads is one way of
to discourage people
and managing your traffic as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It was great chatting to you.
Thank you.
This is Simpiwa Mini. You are watching Joburg Today.
So we've heard about the flow of traffic and how it affects our economy, but it's important that we as citizens take responsibility for road safety too.
On a daily basis, more than 100 people actually die because of road crashes. And it is challenging for us as government, because you would know that it costs the economy, it costs our service, because we lose men and women. In particular, the fact that the bulk of the people who die are young people, which shows you it is the economically active people. It is a loss of productivity, it's a loss to the economy, and a loss to society generally.
We have the second highest death toll in Africa. We actually just follow Nigeria. The time for real action has come, and that time is now, and we need to have this kind of thing happening every single day. People need to become aware of it, and they need to understand that it's only by the luck of the gods that you're not involved in one of these fatal collisions.
On a normal day, when we say it's okay, it's normal, my specialized fatal accident team would deal with 4 or 5 people that died in the jurisdiction of Joburg. That's from Midrand to Orange Farm.
48 people die on our national roads every single day. That is a child, that is a parent, that is a brother or a sister. It is time for us as South Africa to stand up against drunken driving and cars that are not permitted to be on our national roads, so that we can arrive alive. I'm Riley Sagani-Posakwe for Joburg Today.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy DJ Sab with the best thing ever from YFM 99.2, and you are watching Joburg Today.
For more on the city, check out our playlist as well as Leading Opinion. That's it from me, Zizi Paul. I leave you with the Heinz Brothers Runaway Train.
Back in ETV.
Change my name, it's what I had to do, you see. Living life in great confusion, to find a way to live at peace eternally, to get out of my illusion. Some days like a runaway train, some days I can't remember my new name. Some days like a runaway train. I've seen the faults, I've seen the light. I looked into my Father's eyes. Blindness is my real disguise. We all must live, we all must die. Doing all that we can to please ourselves, not thinking of tomorrow. Forgetting who we are, we think we're what is not. Beg and steal and borrow. Some days like a runaway train, some days I can't remember my new name. Some days like a runaway train. I've seen the faults, I've seen the light. I looked into my Father's eyes. Blindness is my real disguise. We all must live, we all must die. Some change has gotta come my way, before I fall outside. We could wait for another day, but that would not be right. That would not be right. I've seen faults, I've seen the light. Oh Lord, I looked into my Father's eyes. Blindness is my real disguise. We all must live, we all must die. I've seen faults, I've seen the light. Oh Lord, I looked into my Father's eyes. Blindness is my real disguise. We all must live, we all must die.